agenda is I want to remind you as a reminder, even with virtual Zoom meetings, workforce development boards are required to comply with public meetings law. Therefore, we need to be able to hear you and your vote to be in compliance with the law. Also want to remind you that this meeting is live streaming on YouTube. So we'll start with board member roll call. So as I call your name, please say here loud and clear. Jessica Otten. Well, we're starting out well. Kathy Barr.
Here.
Chuck Billings. Michael Birkmeyer.
Here.
Whitney Brasington.
Here.
Parabrosa.
Here.
Sherry Carpenter.
Here.
Alicia Colbra Setzer.
Here.
Jeff Dreyer is here. Brandon Edwards. Ben Garrett. Edward Henson.
Here.
Krista Neubauer.
Here.
Jason Nunn. Lynette Orbovich.
Here.
Matthias Perel. Ryan Peterson. Scott Reese. Jennifer Schaefer. Rich Boysonet.
Here.
Amber Westall Briggs. Debbie Woodard.
Here.
Did I miss any board member? Raise your hand if so, or let me know. Okay, I'm going to run through these one more time just to make sure. Jessica Alton. Kathy Barr is here. Chuck Billings is not here. Chuck Billings. Okay. Brandon Edwards. Ben Garrett. Jason Nunn. Matthias Perel. Brian Peterson. Scott Reese. Jennifer Schaefer. Amber Westall Briggs. Okay, it looks like we captured them all the first time around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Did you verify my count, Rebecca?
Yep, I did, and you're correct. I have 12 as well.
So we do not have a quorum.
Nope, we do not.
Okay. Well, then we do not have, we cannot vote on approval of January minutes. Does anybody have any questions or corrections on those? They were in your packet. Okay. Chuck Billings is not here for oath of office. Okay, let me remind you, conflict of interest and code of conduct approval and annual renewal. We need to all act on this if we haven't already. The Workforce Development Board is required by the North Carolina Department of Commerce to maintain a conflict of interest policy. Recently, updates were made to the policy and the new version needs board approval. Those updates include the opening section, which is a statute number North Carolina General Statute 14-34, and attachment B, potential conflict scenarios due to NCGS 14-234. In addition, board members, as well as staff and career center staff, are required to sign a code of conduct each year. A copy of the policy and code of conduct form were emailed out to in the board packet. Please review the policy, sign page 2 of the code of conduct form and email it back to Rebecca. The first part of this, Rebecca says we have to vote on it. Is that correct?
Because we have to approve the changes. And we don't have a quorum, so we
Right,
won't be
so,
able to
okay.
do it.
All right, so then we technically can't sign it until we approve it.
Right?
Okay. Hey, we're moving right along, folks.
Yeah, I know.
All right. All right, we're off to our presentation parts with our guests. First up is Zach Barraclough. Is that how you say it, Zach?
It is, and well done on the first try.
All right, Zach Barraclough. He's Executive Director of North Carolina Tech Paths. North Carolina Tech Paths is a new nonprofit based in Wilkes County, focused on helping the citizens of Allegheny, Ashe, and Wilkes counties create local prosperity in the new digital economy. Zach is here to introduce the organization and its goals for the area. Zach, take it away and welcome.
All right, thanks, Jeff. I appreciate you all having me. It's good to be with you. And just by way of introduction, I actually kind of wear two caps in the region. One is as executive director of NC Tech Paths, this new nonprofit, but I also serve and have served for the last 4.5 years as VP of Strategy and now VP of Rural Innovation at Wilkes Community College. So that is my other kind of cap that I wear in the region. And working with the good folks like Keith Elmore and Debbie Woodard. I see them on the line, and then of course others in our region like Kathy and Rebecca and Keith. Let me just say they've been a big help to us as a college in the last several years as we've been looking at labor market trends, labor market data, and kind of deciding where to focus our programs, where we can have the greatest impact on economic mobility of our neighbors and of our region. And one of the insights that came out of that was that we saw a huge opportunity in the tech industry and the booming tech industry in North Carolina. And so I'm going to actually do this the most efficient way that I can think of to be respectful of everybody's time. And I'm going to have Rebecca roll film on a very brief video that explains the concept of NC Tech Paths. And then I'm going to run through just a few kind of follow-up slides and kind of open it up for questions at that point. But let me just say that I'm incredibly excited about this initiative. We feel like this is not only an impactful thing for us to do for our region, but we're a little bit ahead, as all of you know, we're a little bit ahead of the state and of rural areas across the country when it comes to broadband internet. And that is thanks to Edward Henson's shop there, Skyline Membership Corporation and other rural internet co-ops that we have that have really been proactive and have laid down some phenomenal infrastructure. And so what this whole initiative is about is really kind of answering that question of how do we use it? How do we leverage it for economic development and for workforce development? And so that's what NC Tech Paths was kind of birthed out of that question. So Rebecca, if you can, go ahead and pull up that video. We'll watch that and then dive into a little bit more detail. I don't think the audio came through, unfortunately. You may have to enable the audio when you share the screen. That does that to me a lot of times as well. So if you unshare your screen, and then when you go to share it again, there should be an option there, a little button toggle that says share computer audio. See if that works. And of course, that button is in a different place in each platform that we use, but we're all getting good at these.
Carolina with high growth jobs in
Got it.
technology. We're partnering with companies across the state to develop programs that allow our neighbors to live, train, and remain in our region while working in the digital economy and breathing life into our beautiful downtowns. In this digital age, every company needs technology employees. Right now, there are over 46,000 open tech jobs in North Carolina, ranging from IT support and network management to cybersecurity and software development. But this is not just a big city issue. There are dozens of unfilled positions locally. There are almost 900 open positions in Winston-Salem and several thousand more in places like Boone, Hickory, Lenoir, and Greensboro. As the numbers continue to grow, companies are increasingly looking to hire remote workers. That is, employees who work where they live instead of where the company maintains its home office. These are no longer the jobs of tomorrow. They're the opportunities of today. Let's hear from some folks in and around the technology industry.
Every business is going through a digital transformation, and the greatest risk to their success is not the lack of the technology needed to accomplish it. The biggest risk is the human factors. More than ever, businesses need people who know how to think creatively, problem solve, and work within teams. The places that offer the best access to the talent will attract business and will position their residents to thrive.
We already have a shortage of tech workers, and the demand for talent is growing faster than the supply. We have great talent in the region, but we need more of it. As a community, we have the opportunity to be a rural leader in the digital economy, but we have to think creatively and collaboratively about how we equip Wilkes County and Northwest North Carolina to take advantage of this opportunity before it passes us by.
We have a skills gap crisis in North Carolina, especially in the tech industry, and I hear this all the time from tech executives. So we need to increase the talent pipeline. And this includes 2- and 4-year degrees, but it also includes shorter term boot camp style training. The key is to train specialists with the exact skills, credentials, and certificates that companies need.
We have a moral imperative as business leaders to make sure that all of our state, not just our cities, can participate in the jobs of today. Because in the digital age, we can hire good talent wherever we can find it. Let's make sure it can be found in every city and the most rural locations across North Carolina. Imagine the quality of life we can enable if we rise to the challenge of this moment.
We hear it from companies
Rebecca, you
across
can
the
pause
state.
it there.
In technology, you simply
Excellent. Thank you. Thank you, Rebecca. If you don't mind pulling up the slides, we'll kind of take it from there. So that gives you a little bit of an overview of just as we look at the labor market demand in technology jobs that really kind of cut across a wide variety of skill sets and specializations and ability levels. We believe that there's really something in this industry, in this area of career pathways for everybody. Anybody that's motivated to pursue a career in tech. And so we are working with multiple institutions to provide multiple pathways for folks in our region. Rebecca, you can go to the next slide and I'll breeze through these first couple. But this number here was from November, the last jobs report from this NC Tech Association, which kind of tracks tech jobs in North Carolina. This is actually pushing 48,000 now. It just keeps growing, and Apple hasn't even really started hiring or their operation here. And you all know that's $1 billion investment and thousands of jobs coming into the area. The thing I want to point out about not just the volume of jobs is the quality of jobs. As we're looking in Asheville, Allegheny, and you look at the median household income, it's about 42 to 44,000. The average tech job pays 50 to 200% more than our median household income. So again, as we're looking at levers to really kind of elevate the economic mobility of the region, we see this as a big lever and a big opportunity. And what we keep hearing again and again and again, as we have socialized this in the Raleigh market, in the Charlotte market, in the Winston-Salem market, is that these tech companies cannot find enough talent locally. They cannot find those in those urban and suburban centers. and they are more and more willing to hire outside of those geographic areas, which puts us in a great position. So if you could flip to the next slide there, Rebecca. Again, thanks to the forward-looking cooperatives that we have in this region, we have the best internet in the state, hands down. It's better than Raleigh. It's better than Charlotte. It's better than, much better than other rural areas. And I'll tell you just one anecdote on this. We have a good friend of mine works for Red Hat, which is now owned by IBM out of Raleigh. She has a house in Raleigh. She has a house in Allegheny. She has better internet in her house in Allegheny, which is neat. Then you see where she lives. She lives actually across 2 creek crossings in a cabin out on the side of the mountain and has better internet than she has in her house in Raleigh. That's how phenomenal our infrastructure is. So the question is, how do we take advantage of it? And as a college, what we decided was that this really needed to be its own thing. NC Tech Paths really needed to exist outside of the college, alongside Appalachian State University, to work on recruitment into these pathways and work on industry partnerships on the other side of these educational pathways to place folks into these jobs. And then if you could skip to the next there. Yeah, so besides the phenomenal internet, we have a beautiful place to live. And that's just come to everyone's realization within this pandemic that folks want to live here, which has exacerbated our housing shortage, but is a great thing to realize just how desirable a place it is that we live in terms of natural beauty, in terms of these awesome downtowns that we have. And so our whole thing is live, train, remain. So what can we do to orient people to this opportunity, prepare them for jobs in this industry, and then place them into jobs that allow them to stay in the area? And one of the keys to this, to our thinking about this, is we don't want to ask employer partners to guarantee a work from home policy forevermore, right? Because if we are asking them to hire remotely in the area, and there's no place for those folks to work physically, if it's just work from home, that might be a little bit of a stretch forevermore. And we've seen, I think, some of the upsides and some of the downsides from the work from home setup. So what we are doing is, and this is another reason the entity exists outside of the college, is that we are actually purchasing, renovating, building. We're going to have the facilities for these tech workers in the region so that when they're not working from home, they have a space to office from, as they say. If you can go to the next slide there, Rebecca. And kind of go into this idea of something for everyone. What we can't sort of boil the ocean with our workforce development strategy here, right? We can't target all tech jobs, and there are dozens and dozens and dozens of specializations. So what we've decided, based on conversations with those employer partners in the urban centers, is that these 4 really kind of rise to the top in terms of high demand. IT support is pretty accessible. It's something that somebody can get into in an entry-level position with a boot camp style short-term training. And that's the Perscolis partnership that we've established now in the region.
I think we lost Zach.
Was
There he is.
a focus for Appalachian State, and is one of our. Did my audio go out? Can you hear me okay? Good. Okay.
You're back.
Okay. All right. Great. So cybersecurity is a focus. One of our most successful tech companies in the region is Infusion Points. That's they have about a 50-person shop, and they're looking to double that in the next 12 to 18 months. So they're looking to hire 50 more people in cybersecurity. And Appalachian State's now launched a new cybersecurity program. Wilkes Community College is launching a new cybersecurity program this fall. So that's another focus area. And then network management. for our rural co-ops and utility companies is kind of the bread and butter there for our 2-year degree. So we want to have sort of a portfolio of pathways for folks in our region and for employer partners on the other side of it. And then ultimately, we want to have the facilities, the actual infrastructure for them to plug into and remain in the area working from those facilities. And we are intentionally locating those facilities in downtown areas. We want to bring more foot traffic into our beautiful downtowns, and we feel like that would be a good economic boost to some of those shops and restaurants and so on and so forth in the area. Becky, you can go to the next one if you don't mind. So our first facility is going to be in downtown North Wilkesboro, and we will actually be opening a co-working space. It'll be half co-working space and half tech worker pods, so employer pods. So think about this as kind of 12 to 20 person key card access suites of offices that a single employee use and have secure space, and then co-working space, which is more kind of open format and more of the kind of subscriber model that I'm sure everyone's familiar with from other areas of the state. We've been studying successful models across the state. A lot of them incorporate entrepreneurial incubator and accelerator programs, which is on the horizon for us, but something a little bit down the road with the NC Tech Paths vision. But we will start in downtown North Wilkesboro. Ultimately, if we're successful, we would like to have facilities in Asheville, Allegheny that are accessible to workers in each of those places. I think those are the kind of key speaking points that I wanted to share with you. The only other thing that I wanted to share is sort of a call to action. We definitely need help getting the word out that this opportunity exists and that the support around it exists. So one thing I didn't mention is we have a $2 million seed grant from the Herring Family Foundation in Wilkes County. And we have very, very strong philanthropic and industry support outside of that to scale this up. The financial resources are not our constraint, and the employer demand is not our constraint. It is really the supply. It's the supply of talent. It's the supply of interested workers that will limit the scope and scale and impact of this initiative. So we are looking for partners in the region to just spread the word. This is, infrastructurally going to be housed in Asheville, Allegheny, but the educational pathways and job placement support is really open to a much wider footprint. I believe we included 12 or 14 counties in our Perscolis pilot program that was focused on software engineering that's happening right now. And so we have about probably half of those individuals are from Asheville, Allegheny, and probably half are from outside of that region. And we have our next Perscolis program will be starting in May, and it will focus on IT support. So it's a 12-week program, no cost to the learner. We've actually mobilized resources to provide a living stipend for those individuals who are going through the training. So it's incremental. Every 4 weeks that they complete, they get a stipend, and then we provide job placement support on the other side of that. So that's another program coming up besides the 2-year programs at the college. So we're asking our friends, our colleagues, our partners in the region to just kind of spread the word about this, because we think this could be just a phenomenal opportunity for our neighbors that are looking to get into living wage, family sustaining income type careers. So with that, I will, you can go to the next slide. It's got some contact information, but I just want to kind of open it up to questions.
Okay. Who has questions for Zach?
I want to give a shout out.
Where's the new tech post going to be in
Yeah.
North Wilkesboro?
Yeah, Keith, we can't actually announce it quite yet. We have multiple properties under contract right now that we are sort of kicking the tires on to see which will be the right facility for us. But I will share that this initial facility will be a little bit smaller, 60 to 80 person capacity. And then right on its heels, we are looking at another facility, either new construction or renovation that will house more like 300 tech workers. So locations TBD, but I'll share that as soon as we're able to share that detail. And I wanted to give a shout out to our good partners at NC Works and Goodwill. They've been really phenomenal to work with in spreading the word on this and gathering information and getting that information out there. So thank you to y'all who are on the line. I know there's several.
Thank you, Zach.
Can I ask a question? Zach, for the boot camp 12-week program, if we knew someone who was interested, who do we refer them to?
Yeah, so you can refer them to the info@nctechpaths.org, and what we'll do is we'll connect them with. So the way this will work is that the person will actually be dually enrolled with Perscolis and Wilkes Community College. So what we'll do is we'll actually connect them with a point of contact at each institution. But if they just want to go on and start the application process, which Perscolis it's a selective process. So that's something to be aware of. They do have to go through an admissions process. I just dropped the link. This is the link directly to that program. So they can go online and kind of go through the process directly. But if they have questions and want to connect with someone more personally, then we'll connect them with the 2 points of contact at those institutions.
Thank you.
You bet.
Anything else? Anybody? Well, Zach, thank you for your presentation. Some neat things are happening in the area, and hopefully we can support that and jump on the bandwagon and get you some folks and get them trained, and we'll be set for the future.
Thank you, Jeff. I really appreciate the time. Thanks, Rebecca and Keith, for allowing me to share this with everybody.
All right. Next up, presentation by Dr. John Boyd. He's the president of Malin Community College. Malin Community College, or MCC, is a member of the North Carolina Community College System and is a public 2-year open door institution serving the people of Avery, Mitchell, and Yancey counties and beyond. Today, MCC President Dr. John Boyd is here with us to bring us greetings and provide an update on what's happening at MCC. Dr. Boyd.
Thank you. And for those who don't know, that's where the May comes from in Malin, is Mitchell, Avery, and Yancey. And so we run into a lot of the same issues that Wilkes is running into over there. And that is, it's not an issue of training people, it's an issue of finding people. And people are becoming short and if you look at the census data, our area is highly growing with 65 and older and shrinking in 18 and under. And so we're not growing enough of our own anymore. So Malin has gone into a different kind of approach, and that is to push heavily into the community development and economic development, but the community development part to help help attract more people, as well as, of course, a tourism type economy. And we created the Malin Enterprise Corporation, a standalone 501c3 that runs the businesses then of the college. And if I may get, can I control this now, Rebecca?
Let me make you a co-host, and you will be.
Okay.
Let's see here. All right.
And we will take it here. And so I'll start out with our Rapid Prototype Center. That's part of the Ansbach Manufacturing Center. We do a lot of rapid prototyping in there, and so we have one of the things that we're doing now is we're creating work scholarships for students. So students that apply for the work scholarship this past year had to work 10 hours a week. Next year that changes to 16. But students get a free education. They get free tuition and fees, and we pay them an hourly wage to work, anywhere between $12 and $15 an hour. So they get a free education and they build a resume. Our students in Rapid Prototype work directly with industry to be able to prepare estimates for work and present those estimates to industry and get into manufacturing. That's just kind of a look at where we built this back in 2015 to meet the needs of a lot of our industry that's here. This is an example of some of the work they do. These are parts for BRP, Bombardier Recreation Products. Bombardier, as you know or may not know, they have closed out Evinrude Motor, and so now that impacted our plant here quite a bit in Spruce Pine. So they're looking at other work, and so what they can do is they can, with our center, they can design an item, and then either for here or for out of Milwaukee to this national office, they email us that and specifications for the metal. We print that part in metal, like these parts right here are, and then they attach them to the motor and test them. So the process of going from design to testing is now days instead of months. And so, and our students do all this work and do all the coordination with them. And we did about a dozen parts for them about 2 months ago. And we're doing about a half dozen parts for them right now. And so our machine runs about 24/7, but it is a 3D metal printer, unlike the plastic side. And so we also have our Malin Earth to Sky Park. This is the old energy exchange. Some of you may remember. And so this is owned by two of our counties, Mitchell and Yancey. It's a closed landfill. And we have several things going on there. We have our Bear Dark Sky Observatory, Glenn and Carol Arthur planetariums being built. Let's just go to some of these here. Our Bear Dark Sky Observatory, we are certified by the International Dark Sky Association, IDA, and as an international dark sky. And we have that certification. We're the only higher education in the world that operates an IDA observatory, and so we constantly come out on the best 10 sites to view in the country. There was recently we had a foundation meeting last night, and one of our board members brought up a magazine from one of the airline he was flying on. And it had the 10 best things to do in Asheville, and we were on that. We bring a lot of people, and typically we limit this to about 20, 25 people on a viewing night. And a typical weekend, we'll have over 100 people on the waiting list. About 80% of the people that come to the observatory are driving 3 hours or more. So it's bringing a lot of people into the community. And so that's just kind of a look out of it's not the typical look of an observatory. The whole roof rolls off. We have 7 outside pads. Again, we are international dark sky. We have people to come just to see the Milky Way, like you see here. And the SAM scope is 34 inches. It's the largest scope of its type in the Southeast. And so we just bring a lot of people in for this. We have to recertify every year, but it's really been a great resource to bringing people in. We're in construction right now with the Glenn and Carol Arthur Planetarium. You can see it looks a little bit different. It's not inside, it's the whole building is the planetarium. When we open the planetarium in June, we will be one of 2 IDA sites in the world that have both observatory and planetarium. The other site is in Korea. And so again, a lot of people, plus we can, as you might know, it rains a lot in the mountains. and cloudy. So it gives us a place to go in the event that that's happening there. I will point out the mural that's being painted right here. We have Matthew Wiley doing that work. He's a renowned artist. He's doing for the good of the Hive Project. His last project was the U.S. Embassy in China. And he has done the Ape House at the Smithsonian Zoo. When we open, we do our grand opening on the 23rd of June. When we open, once we open, then we will apply to the Smithsonian as an affiliate. And so this is going to change for both for education and the things we can do with education in there, but also for bringing people in for that. We just recently got the interior dome set up, and that's ready to go. The projection system comes in the next 2 weeks. And so that's a look at Matt Wiley. He did a scout bee a little bit ago on the front of one of our buildings. This is the general look that we're gonna have. Those were all old Quonset huts. And so we're redesigning the front. It's really being earth to sky park. And then a picnic shelter, we do an aquaponics program in there. And then this is kind of a view of the area. You can see what the Quonset huts look like and what they're going to look like there. Planetarium hadn't started yet on this. Pollinator gardens through here, outdoor classroom, viewing terraces in there. The observatory is up on the hill at the side of it. And then these two buildings here will be child discovery centers. One focus on environmental science and the other on engineering and mechanical science. And these will be filled with hands-on things so our kids start getting interested in engineering at a young age. And we've got a lot of kids and school districts that are excited about coming out here. We've also opened up our Blue Ridge Boutique Hotel. It was given to us in 2015. It's a 100-year-old school. And it was renovated to a hotel in the mid 80s. And we've done our first re-renovation with 16 rooms, and we've started now the second renovation, but we are open. We're semi-closed right now. We just open up when industry needs the rooms, but we'll be opening back up full speed again in May while we finish renovation. We're in the final design of our landscape plan. And then we're also in our design of our restaurant and bar that goes with it. And again, like the Ansbach Rapid Prototype Center, we have work scholarship students in here. So students are required to work 10 hours a week, but we pay them $15 an hour for that 10 hours a week. And so and then proceeds go back to help the college. That's kind of a look at the hotel as we got it. It looks a little bit better than that, but this is look at our landscape design that we're getting ready to do. That we're I could say we're on the verge of starting. And so that gives you a sense. And the Coliseum is the building next door that we own. This is the new restaurant kitchen that's coming in. That'll be the restaurant. That'll be the kitchen for the restaurant with outside seating, indoor seating along in here, and a bar off the side of the kitchen inside.
Everybody see that? My screen stuff froze.
Let me go ahead.
Screen is froze up, you know.
I just shut it off, but is that, was you able to see that?
No.
No, we weren't.
Oh, okay.
Blue Ridge Boutique Hotel page where the wording's on it. That's where I'm froze at.
Okay. Let me look at this.
Music was nice.
Yeah. Can you see it now?
There you go.
Okay. Let me, I won't show the whole thing, but they give you a sense of what it looks like. Yeah, I'll stop on that one, but you can kind of get a sense of what it's going to be. We should start construction on that. Well, did that come back up on the screen again? They should never let a president use technology.
We're back to the ANSPOC rapid prototypes.
Okay, good. And so we'll go on back here to where we were. And so that is just, we restored all the 100-year-old floors in there. It had been carpeted. The rooms vary in size. We tried to keep the old style of the old school in there. And then the other project we've got going on in the center, and this is all in the center of Spruce Pine. The other project we've got going on is the Three Peaks Enrichment Center, a former hockey rink built in the mid-'80s and given to us with the hotel. And it's basically a 60,000 square foot building that will end up being a 100,000 square foot building when we're done, with about a $50 million economic impact during construction, about a $20 million annual economic impact to the community. So we're working on that. Different centers we have, I'm just going to go straight to it. This is the hotel you just saw. This is the bridge that connects everything over here to downtown. It's an old footbridge and it's getting ready to be renovated. The town has the money for that. DOT is managing the renovation. So it's a nice little cut across to there. And there's the Coliseum in there. The backside looking towards town, we're just about done right here in the Cosmetology Center. We're moving that from the main campus to downtown. It will support, it'll give better access to people to come in to use it, as well as we'll tie it to the hotel. Guests can schedule services from Cosmetology. The room right above it, right up here, is a resource center for entrepreneurs, or small business center being there, but it'd be much expanded to give, a lot of technology to people that wanting to do startup and financial help and all that. And we have our pre-construction meeting coming this Thursday. This is an area over here on this side of the building that we're looking at, an area for local wine and beer, and an area for people to come out and relax. And that will be some space for that. The front end towards Highway 19, we're moving the entranceway over here, and we are working right now with the YMCA, and YMCA is we have hired the same contractor underneath a design build contract. And we're in design in design now of this, and the college will do the entranceway. We'll build this part here, the kitchen. The newer plans have an expanded up here for the YMCA component. This is the big component within the event space. Will be a 2,000 plus seat event space. And this is just an example of one of the setups with the center stage. It's a floor with a balcony around it. It brings a whole new level of people of what people can do into the community. Another example of the same space, only converted into more of an temporary ice rink and walking track. This is the floor plan. The bottom floor here is going to be a kitchen area for culinary. We're going to do a culinary program in there, as well as a wood-fired baking program. This is our Cosmo that's going in. This is the refreshment area, bottom part of our event space. balcony of our event space, and then this gets into the YMCA. They have 2 floors, this one here and one that's in between the 2 floors. And then the Resource Center for Entrepreneurs and our massage therapy. We have the funds now to do that, and we'll be starting that in design. We'll be starting design on that here within the next few months. And so we've already done the parking area, but to give you, the YMCA is going to add 2 indoor pools off of that along the parking area as part of that. So this will be one of their 2nd floor here, and then there's a 3rd floor above. So the pools will be suspended at the 2nd floor level. So we're looking at really doing things that both give people a reason to stay instead of leave, and also be appealing for industry that comes in, because there's things for people to do, as well as tourists coming in that may be buying that may decide to continue to buy second homes or to move here as a because of the amenities. You got the mountains are a beautiful place. You got to have stuff to do. You got to have restaurants. You got to have stores. You got to have that. And without a volume of people coming in, you can't do that. And most of these small communities can barely sustain their businesses on Main Street with the local population. And so you need more than that to come in to be able to grow. And so it was interesting we talked to a bed and breakfast in Burnsville, and the last 2 years have been their best years since they've been open. They've been open a long time. And 80% of their stays were coming to the observatory. And so, that economically, that when a tourist comes in and spends the night, they spend 3 times as much money as they do on a day trip. And so, we're trying to create that attraction with the 32-bedroom hotel. We've already got some events coming in that it's fully booked. And so that puts a little pressure on finishing, but we'll be there. And of course, the Y will be the Y in itself will add 50 people that are there across from town, with 3 programs, academic programs in the building that also brings in a lot of people into town during the day. And then on particularly weekends, the event space. And so students, they get more ability to work with people with their skill sets for Cosmo and massage by people using them more, being downtown. And again, the hotel, people can within a couple of years, people be able to get a room and schedule, whether a manicure, pedicure, massage, whatever they want in there. So we're running these, the restaurants, we're trying to sub out, but we're committed to this. So we'll either sub it out or we'll go into restaurant business too. So a little bit different than what most colleges are doing right now, but it's for our community, and it meets the needs of our community, what we have to have, and that is we need people. So thank you. I'll take any questions if there are any. This process really throws off the auditors because we're doing it so different, and we're doing it through a third. Our Mail and Enterprise Corporation actually serves as a third party, like our foundation does, but separate from that.
Any questions for Dr. Boyd? What a beautiful model, forward thinking. Dr. Boyd, I give you kudos, and everybody there at Mainland Community College and the whole community around it as to what you're doing for sustainability going forward. And wow, we can certainly take some notes about that.
Well, if the workforce board ever wants to do a retreat at the observatory or planetarium, let us know. We'd love to host.
Absolutely. I believe we will.
We'll definitely let you know.
Yeah. Anybody have any questions for Dr. Boyd? Thank you, Dr. Boyd. I really appreciate it.
Well, thank you for having me.
Mhm. Okay, moving right along, we're going on to our director's report. Keith, it's all yours.
Mr. Chairman, Rebecca just let me know that we have 13 board members now, and that is our quorum. Would it be your pleasure to go back and take care of the stuff that we needed to vote on so that we don't have to do that at the next meeting?
Yes, let's
You and the board decide, that's what we'll do.
yeah, let's go ahead and get that done. Back up here. We need to approve minutes from our last meeting. So as I call your name, hopefully everybody's gone over those and looked at those. Are there any questions, additions, deletions that anybody has before we go to a vote to approve? Hearing none, we will move forward. Who was our 13th that came in? I don't have to repeat names that are not here.
Jessica joined us.
Jessica joined us. Welcome, Jessica. You are our first person on the list. Jessica Otten, do you approve the minutes?
Yes.
Kathy Barr,
Yes.
Michael Berkmeyer,
Yes.
Whitney Brasington,
Yes.
Tara Brosa,
Yes.
Sherry Carpenter,
Yes.
Felicia Colbreth Setzer,
Yes.
Jeff Dryer, yes. Edward Henson,
Yes.
Kristen Neubauer,
Yes.
Lynette Orbovich,
Yes.
and Rich Voisinette. Rich? You're muted, Rich. Okay. No vote. Debbie Woodard.
Yes.
Rich, are you back?
I am sorry, I had somebody come into my office.
No problem.
Yes.
You vote.
Thank
Okay,
you.
yes. Thank you. All right, so that's unanimous. All 13 voted to approve. Thank you for that. Next, we have to approve the conflict of interest code. It is in your packet. Does anybody have any questions on that? Hopefully everybody got a chance to look at that. Some language change. Okay, hearing none, we'll go ahead and vote on that. And to adopt the changes on this code of conduct policy and we'll move forward. So once again, Jessica Otten.
Excuse me, Mr. Chair, we need a motion in a second.
Oh, yes, we do. Thank you. Do we have a motion to approve the changes?
My name is Madison.
Sorry, did we have a motion?
This is Mike Berkmeyer, so moved.
Okay, do we have a second?
Edward Henson, second.
Okay, any other discussion? Thank you, Rebecca, for keeping me on track and on task. All right, Jessica Otten,
Yes.
Michael Berkmeyer,
Yes.
Whitney Brasington,
Yes.
Tara Brosa,
Yes.
Sherry Carpenter,
Yes.
Felicia Colbreth Setzer,
Yes.
Jeff Dryer, yes. Edward Henson,
Yes.
Kristen Neubauer,
Yes.
Lynette Orbovich,
Yes.
Rich Voisinette,
Yes.
and Debbie Woodard.
Yes.
Thank you for taking care of that business. Now we can, I think that covers everything that we had to vote on. Yes, it does. So at this point in time, we will move down to our director's report. Keith, I'll hand it to you.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's my honor and pleasure to see you all and to be before you again. In the interest of time, in your packet, you will find the labor market overview, which will tell you the unemployment rate. If all hearts and minds are clear, I will not do the unemployment rates in an effort to save time. So we will treat this as an obituary. You read it silently and on your own and review the labor market information of the employment rates and things of that nature. Going into my director's report, because I want to get to a lot of good stuff, and we got some stuff from our contractors and the people in the field that make us look good and do the good work. So I want to get to them. Just a few things I want to make you aware of event-wise. On Wednesday, March 16th, 2022, Secretary of the North Carolina Department of Commerce, Michelle Baker Sanders, will be the speaker for the Wilkes Chamber Women in Leadership. That is going to be at 5 o'clock on Wednesday, and a lot of NC Work staff and High Country Board staff will be attending to welcome Secretary of Commerce Michelle Sanders. Also, on Thursday, March the 17th, the Wilkes EDC, in partnership with the High Country Workforce Development Board, will produce the Wilkes Workforce Summit at the Stone Center in North Wilkesboro from 8:30 to 10:30. Dr. Harry Davis, the economist and professor of banking and financing at Appalachian State University, will be the speaker. If you are interested in coming, please go to the Wilkes EDC website and register to attend that event. We are anticipating a good turnout. I think we have about 95 people registered, so that we are looking forward to that. Also, Goodwill Industries of the Northwest is conducting a needs assessment survey focusing on transforming lives of people in the Northwest. I've been contacting businesses to have UNCG come up and do interviews and collect data. They're going to be looking at the barriers that impact lives, such as childcare, wages, healthcare, things of that nature. Sherry Carpenter, do you have anything to add on that?
No, but we appreciate your help on that, Keith, as one of our steering committee members, and we will be sharing the results of the needs assessment as soon as they're available. Thank you.
It's up to you, business owners and business managers. I'll probably be hitting you guys up in these areas to see if we can come in, if UNCG can come in and interview 8 to 12 people. The people that are interviewed will receive a $20 Walmart gift card, and it is very valuable information. So we hope that if you're called upon, that you will be able to make that happen so that we can get data to represent our region. NC Works of Wilkes will be participating in the Second Harvest Food Bank with Wilkes Community College. That event will be on Saturday, March 12th. They will hand out information about NC Works and workforce services, and our NC Works staff will be assisting in handing out food at that food bank event. So we are very happy about that, and we thank the NC Works staff that are going to be out there on the early morning and giving a portion of their Saturday to get NC Works out of the brick and mortar and out into the community and doing good things at the same time. On Wednesday, March 23rd, 2022, I will be doing a presentation to the about workforce development to the Blowing Rock Leadership Academy. Their leadership Blowing Rock participants. Want to let you know that the Government and System Alignment Committee of the NC Works Commission voted that realignment of workforce boards to better align with economic development should occur, and they recommend 8 guiding principles that the NC Works Commission will vote on and approve at the March 30th meeting. Seeing as that timeline, when that is approved, the next step would be that they will contact or negotiations or talks will resume with the local elected officials in our area. That would be the consortium board and the chief elected officials. And that will be when the decision will be made as of to whether the consortium and chief elected officials want to realign, or as the resolution that they passed and a lot of our other boards and towns and counties have passed, that we want our high country area to stay with the 7 counties that fit our geographical boundaries and our labor market, and really serves our region. So, Chief Elected Official Keith Elmore, do you have anything to add at this point in time?
Well, no, I was actually going to be in Raleigh that day, so I guess I'll attend that meeting and see how it goes. At this point, I do plan to vote in favor of keeping our workforce development in our county, in our region. I don't think there's anybody that has indicated that we should do anything differently. So that's where I'm at. And I'll let you know. I'll keep you updated and let you know.
All right. Thank you. We appreciate that, Chief Elected Official Keith Elmore.
Keith, can I ask a question? Well, I guess both Keith. So if the elected officials do not approve of this resolution, then we stay as we are. Is that correct?
Right. If they do not vote to realign, then we stay in our 7 boundaries like we are today.
Thank you. And I hope that happens. Keith Elmore, help us out.
Okay. Thank you.
Next, I want to make you all aware that Anita Lowe, the manager of the Boone NC Works Career Center, will retire after 26 years of service, effective Thursday, March 31st. Anita's on the call here. Anita, on behalf of the board and the Workforce Board staff, thank you for your service and all that you do for NC Works and for the high country and for the state of North Carolina. It has truly been a pleasure. You've done a lot of good, and you've made a difference in the path of workforce development and in our NC Works region. So Anita, at this time, do you have anything to say? We just couldn't, and we're going to give you another send off on the 18th, but I did want to recognize that in front of the board and let you know that the board does appreciate all that you have done.
It's greatly appreciated. I will miss everyone. It's been a great 26 years, and I just look forward to the next chapter, and I appreciate all the help that the board's given over the years.
Thank you, Anita. Due to the NC Department of Commerce and DWS RTR, Felicia, help me. What's that acronym stand for, RTR? So I don't butcher it and mess it up.
Just say RTR. Don't even try to go from there. It's just a voluntary separation on the state level. Leave it there.
All right, we'll go with RTR.
Don't steal my thunder, okay?
Would you like for me to hold off and let you cover that in your report?
Let us cover that together in my report so you can add what you need. Okay, thank you.
All right, I will divulge that. More to come on that. Also, on March 18th, as I said, there will be a regional meeting and a reception honoring Anita Lowe for her 26 years of service. This will occur at the NC Works Career Center from 12 to 2 p.m., a floating reception. So if any board members would like to come by, you are definitely welcome, and we will send out another invite so that you'll have that to put on your calendar. From there, I will go into the updates of the NC Works Career Centers. In the absence of Charity Patterson-Hamburg, Phil Pope will give the update for Wilkes, Allegheny, Ash, and Watauga. Phil, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Keith. Good afternoon. I'm Phil Pope. I'm a supervisor at New Wilkes NC Works Career Center. And like Keith said, Charity can't be with us today. The 4 centers, Wilkes, Ash, Allegheny, and Watauga, are fully operational at this point in time, offering all staff assisted services that were offered pre-pandemic. The staff continues to provide assistance and present monthly selection of employability skill classes virtually. And as of March 1st, regular business hours were modified for all centers. The hours of operations are Monday through Thursday, 8 to 5 p.m., closed for lunch from 12 noon to 1, and open Friday, 8 to noon. Excuse me. And effective this week, based on the governor, the Department of Commerce Secretary Sanders, the CDC's guidance, Director Devereaux modified guidelines, stating that wearing a mask will be optional in the centers, but are encouraged to be worn, especially when working in close contact with clientele. All center staff still remains vigilant in cleaning and sanitizing any and all areas used by visitors to the centers. Hired events do continue to be scheduled with unfortunately little success. The Wilkes Center hosted an in-person hired event with the North Carolina Department of Public Safety in January, and another in-person event with the JBS company from Lenore in February, which had an attendance of 1 and 0 respectively. The Watauga Center hosted an in-person third Thursday hired event in February that featured apple cart, no beer, carpet cleaning, the North Carolina Department of Public Safety, Food Line, and Aspen, and one person showed up for that event. The centers continue to participate with quarterly sponsored regional trainings of the High Country Workforce Development Board, and the most recent training in January was on virtual classes, subject matter used for each class, and how to make the classes themselves more effective. And as Keith touched on with the RTR, that will be discussed shortly. It's going to be causing some changes or affecting some changes in the centers. And so some of the tasks that are currently being handled by those individuals is going to be shifted to the remaining staff. Currently, effective staff are receiving additional NC Works refresher training as it relates specifically to employer accounts and job orders, and we're certainly going to keep the focus on business and employer outreach as part of the overall support by the centers. Partner meetings are held the first Monday of each month, and at this week's meeting, a date of April 12th was selected for an in-person Wilkes County Job Fair, which will be held at the Walker Center on Wilkes Community College campus. The last in-person event was held in April of 2019, and then the fair that was scheduled in April 2020 was canceled due to the COVID-19 pandemic. A virtual job fair was held last year, and Debbie, I don't have the exact number, but as I recall, it was pretty poorly attended because it was over a 3-day period. Is that correct? And she must not be available. Employers in and around Wilkes County will be contacted for interest in participating in the job fair, and I don't think we're gonna lack for participation on the part of employers at the job fair. And Keith has already mentioned that the management team for MC Works Career Center in Wilkes attended the Wilkes Chamber of Government, or the January Government Affairs Luncheon that Director Devereaux facilitated, and that management will be attending the Wilkes Workforce Summit event next Thursday. And lastly, with more focus and awareness on DEI, everyone knows that's diversity, equity, and inclusion in the workplace. All center staff attended 2 virtual presentations in February for Black History Month. The first presentation, the staff was treated to a live guided tour of the American history, or the Smithsonian's Natural Museum of African American History and Culture in Washington, D.C. And then the second was a presentation by Regional Operations Director Felicia Culver-Setzer on barriers that have been overcome in America, excuse me, and specifically here in North Carolina within the Division of Workforce Solutions. And as Keith touched on, as part of the Women's History Month this month, the highlight will be for the Wilkes Center staff, certainly the when Commerce Secretary Sanders' presentation titled Women in Leadership will be presented then next week. And without any further ado, thank you so much for my time, and I turn it back over to Director Keith.
Thank you, Phil. Moving right along, Tony Deal, would you give us an update on your staff?
Thank you, Keith. I'm Tony Deal. I'm the North Carolina Works WIOA Program Director for Allegheny, Ash, Wilkes, and Watauga. And I started back in about the middle of January, and the WIOA team's really been working hard over the past few months. In terms of over the last 4 months, we've been trending up with 12 enrollments in January, 19 in February, which is almost double what we did the last 2 months in 2021. We reached 27 measurable skills gains, and 7 have exited the program and started working. We've also increased our spending to try and meet the annual budget for this year by improving our referral process for schools and events so that we can gain more participants, and attending orientations for programs like the truck driving and CNA that through tuition and exams and course materials, we're able to utilize the budget that we have been given this year. Our youth efforts have really been paying off with 2 new youth work experiences and on-the-job trainings in February. However, just like some of the people have mentioned on the call today, we're also feeling the same issues that the employers are feeling, finding youth that are wanting to work. It has been a strain, but we've recently attended a job fair at Allegheny High School and received 9 youth referrals from that. And also this week we went to Central Wilkes High School, and we're able to capture a lot of the students' information there, so we could try to build that youth group. We've also expanded our outreach to the local teen parenting programs. Like I said, we're building more relationships in the schools, and we're going to be having our staff on campus in Wilkes at the Wilkes Community College starting in March. We lost one of our case managers, Deborah, up in Watauga, but we are also hiring a new person in Wilkes. We've just offered her the position and are getting started with the onboarding there to cover our adult participants, because we're moving one of our case managers over to a compliance role to make sure that we're meeting all the state guidelines and standards there. We're still collecting applications for the Watauga office. Once again, struggling to find that right fit, but we have gotten a few more applications in the last week. So we're really looking forward to having somebody good to cover our youth programs up there. It's been really great seeing my team over the past 2 months. Getting to know them. We're going to be offering more training and support over the next couple of months to be able to provide the best customer service and care to our clients. And we're really working on building relationships with businesses and organizations in the community. So I think that's all I have to say at this point. So back to you, Keith.
Thank you, Tony. Next, Pam Wilson and April Jones, would you guys give us an update on the Malin area, Malin of Avery, Mitchell, Yancey, of how NC Works and our WIOA programs are doing there? Pam Wilson, the floor is yours.
We'll be glad to do that, Keith. As far as our centers, traffic has steadily been picking up, especially since January, and I'm talking about foot traffic there. The number of services that we are doing by phone still by far outweigh any foot traffic, but we are seeing at least some increase. We have been doing monthly career fairs for the Department of Correction, and each of our centers, like everyone else, they're really struggling to fill a number of positions that they have. Just recently, we started our 18th OJT for the year and are working on our 11th work experience. Then on a sad note, I'll share with you that we are losing Liz Tenney from our office. Liz will be retiring at the end of this month, which is a good thing for her, a sad thing for us. And then now I brought April Jones with me today, and April's going to share with you some of the projects that she's been working on, particularly with our young people. And she has some great visuals for you so you can actually see what they've been doing. So April, I'll turn it over to you.
Great. Thank you guys. Appreciate your time. April Jones, and I cover the Mitchell and Azure counties. And I'm a career advisor with it. I've been here for 15 years, so I've got to see the young adult program really expand and grow. So I'll do a quick presentation with, and I'll let Rebecca sharing with me.
All right, you are now a co-host. And if anyone isn't speaking, if you could mute yourself, please, that will help with the kind of the sound cutting in and out. So, thank you.
Apologize. Seems like it's a little delay. Can everyone see my screen? Yes, see the presentation so far?
Not yet.
Okay. Okay. Do anything on my end, Rebecca?
You should just be able to, I've made you a co-host, so you should just be able to share screen. You see the controls on there?
I don't know what. Say, I'm definitely not a tech person, so I apologize. I know, and it's not sharing my screen. I'll let Rebecca.
Yeah, if you need to, you can just email it to me real fast and I'll pull it up.
Yeah, let me do that. I don't know. Well, I was hoping. Pause. I don't want to take anybody else's time. Oh, there it is. Share. Copy link. Okay, we're going to send that to you right now. I think we need some of that high-speed internet he was talking about. Let me get that, Rebecca.
I still haven't received it, so it's probably gotten caught up.
Okay, I apologize.
It's probably stuck in traffic on 105.
I think I'll be able to share my screen now.
I see your screen.
April, you're muted. April, you're muted.
April, you're muted.
I'm still not hearing any sound.
I don't hear any sound either. April, you may need to, where it says share your screen. This happened to me when Zach and I were doing his presentation on the share. Look at the bottom where it says share your sound as well.
Can you hear me okay now?
Yes.
Sorry. Let's try it again. All right, can you hear me okay now?
Yes.
Okay, great. All right, present. Okay. So I want to showcase a little bit about what our programs are doing in our 3 counties, Avery, Mitchell, and Yancey. And like I said before, I've been doing this for 15 years, and I have seen the program grow tremendously. I have seen challenges, and of course, as y'all know, COVID was a big one for us. I'm a people person, and I do feel like getting out in the community really is a key to making this program a success. So what is happening? For one, we're getting back in the community. We're getting back in the schools, and we're reaching out to our partners. But the biggest thing is we're putting these young adults back into work. Over how enrollments are doing so far. We have, sorry about that. So 41 actively serving, and the adults that we're currently serving. This is starting our physical year. We have some that are still in follow-up, but 41 active youth were 22 new enrollments that we had this past year, and 7 work experiences and 4 OJTs. And so this has been a big success for us. I feel like we're getting out in the community, we're getting these youth to come in to get the work experiences going, get the training that they need to etc. So I'm sure you're wondering, where are these youth coming from? Mainland pre-college programs, which a lot of people know from the past as basic skills. We actually have, from the 22 youth that are enrolled, the new enrollments, 11 of those came from the mainland pre-college programs. We have a very great communication with them, a collaboration that they have us come and speak at their orientations once a month. And we're able to work with them one-on-one and getting these young adults that are trying to better their education into our program. I've had 3 referrals from the high school and 1 from DSS. And DSS actually referred to several in the past, but this is just from our physical year. And so we have other partners that do assist this, and a lot of times it's our DES partners in our offices. We also have just people in the community, people that used to be in our program that know our program are referring people to us. Quick update on our events that we've had. Our recent events is on March the 1st, we participated in the College Career Day at Mount Heritage High School. That is a yearly event that happens. Last year, unfortunately, we did it virtual. We're okay, but I'm a people person. I feel like you can connect when you're in face-to-face with some of these young adults, and you get that interaction with them. There were 4 groups in that. We did a workshop with them solely with the sophomores, and we did work on side career, and we talked about some of the different ways on how to decide that, some of the challenges when you're deciding. Also touch base on how the internship and work experience piece plays a big role in deciding on that career pathway. We have 137 students that come through to do this workshop with us. And so some of our upcoming workshops we have coming up are, I will be working with working with their and seniors and possibly their sophomores, and we're going to do a workshop on what employers expect. And we're going to talk a lot about our internships and how we can help collaborate with them. on some of their graduates and possibly some of their students. And then March 25th, Avery High School will be hosting a career fair, and we'll be participating in that. And then April the 5th, Yankton County Schools will be working with the 7th and 8th graders and having a career fair. The Gear Up program will be hosting, and I've been working with them on lawyers trying to set up, and it will be at the town center. Some of our ongoing events that we have, our monthly presentation education program on their locations. And I work individually workshops with the work experience participants as well. So when they come into the work experience, we do an individual workshop with them on what's expected in the workforce, how to interview, and things like that. Okay, getting to the fun part. I want to show you a quick video real quick. Our interns and also our OJs, our on-job trained young adults. And then when I kind of talk a little bit about each of them. It may not work. Are the day. As I like to showcase what pictures show actually say 1,000 words. So I wanted to kind of show a little video of our interns at work, and I want to kind of go over real quick just some of the interns that we have. And I do want to thank each of our employers for taking the time to agree to do these internships. It has been a big benefit to each and every one of these. Haley Evans was an administrative trainee at Country Cablevision. She actually has ended with her internship, and she did a great job. She came fresh out of high school, but wasn't sure what she wanted to do. And so she was able to go at Country Cablevision and work in the office and learn a lot there. They actually offered her a job in the end, but she's not sure what she wants to do. She wants to go back to school. And so we're working with her on trying to decide what her next pathway is. Next, we have Adam Can. He worked at Butner Construction. He just ended with his internship. But Adam came straight out of high school as well, was interested in doing an internship to learn more about construction management. He is attending AB Tech and working on his associate in construction management. Butner Construction actually hired him on after this, and so he's still working with Butner Construction part-time while he's attending school. Adam actually maintained a straight A average while working 30 hours a week, 30 hours, a little bit less than 30 hours a week with our internship, and attending school full-time. We have Hunter Steer. He is a farm assistant at Blue Ridge Horse Adventures. Hunter had gotten laid off at PRC, and he just wasn't sure what he wanted to do. He loves working with animals, and so we were able to collaborate with Blue Ridge Horse Adventures and be able to put him in an internship there. We have Noah Begin. Noah came to us. He had been laid off or had quit his job actually at Glen Raven and was wanting to go back to school and work on his adult high school equivalency diploma. And so Noah came to us back in November, and just beginning of February, he finished up with his diploma. He, while doing that, he's working at the Yancey County Sheriff's Office in administrative work, but he's really wanted to go back and start his criminal justice degree and hopefully attend BLE. We have Tegan Brown. She is an intern at Appalachian Eye Associates, and optometric tech is her position. She wasn't sure what she wanted to do. Her grandpa had referred her to us to help with job search, and after discussing with her what our program had to offer, we were able to put her in an internship. She's looking at registering at Mayland in the fall and looking at some other classes that she's willing to start taking. We have Abby Burleson. She is a service team member at State Farm Insurance. She's very interested in learning the insurance field, and she's fresh out of high school as well and wasn't sure what she wanted to do. And so she kind of had that passion to sell. And so we were able to collaborate with State Farm Insurance and put her in this position. She has actually attended Maitland as well, working on some business classes. We have Garrett Cook. Garrett Cook is one of our OJTs through Superior Installation. He's an HVAC mechanic, and he just finished up with our OJT contract and is still working with Superior Installation. We have Paige Arnold. She was another one of our OJTs. She is completing an OJT with Sisters of Mercy Urgent Care as a patient service specialist. And then last we have Bridget Tahandon. She is another OJT as well with the Yancey County DSS, and she is a social human service assistant. She actually ended early. She is one of the ones that ended early. She decided she wanted to go back to school. And so we do have a couple more that unfortunately I didn't get pictures of, but overall, I feel like these were a big success. Does anybody have any questions? Thank you guys so much for your time.
Thank you, April and Pam. Next, updates from DWS, Felicia Setzer.
Good afternoon. First, I want to again thank Anita for her 26 years of service to workforce in the high country. 26 years that's a long time. So we are really proud of the work that you've done. And I wanted to make sure that you understood that we appreciate your dedication. So again, we thank you. We want to thank Liz Tanny as she is retiring, Chris and Jeff from Wilkes and Ashe County as well. With saying that, going into the RTR, basically the RTR was a voluntary separation in which the state of North Carolina offered packages for people to accept to basically retire or to leave the state. And we did that in lieu of doing RIFs. On the state level, we received 74 people who participated in our RTR program. That was the number we were looking for. We received that number and we did not have to do RIFs. In the Northwest, however, we lost 6 people and 4 of them came from the high country. With that being said, as soon as that was recognized, I contacted Keith and he and I worked very closely together for us to strategize and see exactly what needed to happen here in the Northwest to ensure that we were providing successful and excellent customer service. It is paramount that we ensure that the centers in the high country are taken care of and that they are covered. So Keith and I worked endlessly together to ensure that, and you all know how hard that was, that I had to work with Keith. And so, Jeff, you know it's the truth. And so we did that, and it was a little painful, because it's going to be painful throughout the state of North Carolina as we make moves and we move some staff throughout the Northwest to cover offices where they've lost staff members. But luckily in the high country, we did not have to close any centers. Why am I saying that? Because other places within the state of North Carolina, centers are closing. So because of the fact that we were able to work really closely together, Keith and I, and bring in both Charity and Pam to work very closely looking at the operations piece of those centers, we did not have to close any centers. So, you know, that to us was paramount on trying to make decisions on business services and things like that. Keith, is something you want to add before I move on?
No.
Okay. So that is what we did with that. Number two, you know that the COVID numbers are steadily decreasing. And with that, Governor Cooper and the OSHR, the state personnel for the state of North Carolina, has stated that mask requirements are no longer required for state employees. And so effective Monday, those requirements were lifted, and state employees were given the option to wear a mask. And in the high country, it has been highly encouraged that masks still be worn if you're having interaction with customers, both to, you know, to protect our staff and to protect customers as well. And I appreciate email that you sent out, Keith, to the staff stating that. Also, I will be attending the Wilkes Workforce Summit. I've already registered, and I will be attending also the Wilkes Women in Leadership. So you're going to have me in Wilkes for a little while. It's like 3 days in a row.
Bring your bedroll.
I know, right? It'll be fun. I might have to spend the night, have to call Keith and make him find me somewhere to stay. But doing that, we are encouraging our center leaders and our center managers. We are talking about leadership and how to lead through change, because this is my 29th year in state and local government. And so I've seen change like this before. Many of our managers have not. So we're talking about how to lead through change, and we're working with our staff to ensure that they understand, that we understand their anxiety and things like that. But we're just moving forward in a positive manner. We're happy that we didn't have to do any rifts. So I think you have top-notch managers here in high country. You really do. And we will be replacing Anita's position as a manager. And we will, of course, I've got to look at that and move down the road and that type thing, but wanted to say that to you because Keith and I had discussed that, and we weren't really sure the time frame, but I'm trying to get them to push that very quickly, Keith.
Thank you.
I'm working on that. And the last thing I wanted to share is that we have a directive that is coming from the Department of Public Instruction. They are doing an initiative called the Portrait of a Graduate. And what is happening is that they're inviting some stakeholders to the table. They've invited workforce development for us to discuss student skills development. And they're looking at what students need to actually enter the workforce right out of high school, the actual employability skills. So representing the high country will be Keith Devereaux, and he will be working on a team that I am, as the ROD, will be leading and working with the Department of Public Instruction on a work group. So we're really excited that Keith agreed to work on that team. And I understand that other people, other stakeholders will be invited to that, including CTE and community college partners as well. So we're excited to see that they understood that bringing workforce to the table so that we could share our ideas was very important. That's all I have. I'm just excited about us being able to move forward without having to riff people, because I know that was an anxiety for our staff, but it was also an anxiety for me as well. So that is all I have, Keith, unless someone has questions.
Any questions for Felicia?
Thank you.
Okay. Sheila and Sherry, do you guys have anything to add as senior leadership from Goodwill, our WIA provider?
Sorry, nothing new, Keith. We just want to thank everyone for the partnership. Sheila had to step away into another meeting, but we're looking forward to continuing to grow the work experience in our areas and to partner with everyone as we move forward. So thank you for your support.
Okay, thank you. Next, staff updates. Misty, do you have an update for the board that you need to make you aware?
No, I'm good. Thank you.
Rebecca Bloomquist, do you have an update?
Nothing at this time other than to remind board members to please send in your signed code of conduct now that we have approved that. So please get that in.
Deborah Fox, do you have anything?
Nothing to add right now.
Okay. I do want to make the board aware that this is the time of year when staff and I are spread thin and running. We will be looking at not only developing the budget, but also our unified annual plan is coming due. So we will be having all hands on deck. But we will still be around and providing services and accessible, but there are a lot of reports that are coming and big studies that we have to complete to be in compliance with the WIOA federal regulations. So, and then you guys will get to review our finished product on our website and read this wonderful document that is just very interesting. But before we go, Chairman Jeff Dreyer, could we verify that we got Kathy Barr's vote on the conflict of interest policy?
Kathy Barr, did you vote? Let's see. I believe she did.
I don't think my name was called, but I'll do a yay.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. We wanted to double check. Yeah, Rebecca sent me a message that we needed to double check to see. So, okay. Mr. Chairman, that concludes my report. I would like to thank, on behalf of the staff, thank the board for all your support, your leadership and guidance. And at this time, I turn it back over to you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Thank you, everybody, for your involvement with workforce. I attended a chairs meeting yesterday in Greensboro. It was quite informative. Just so everybody knows, across the state, most of the workforce development boards are voting to stay put. There are some minor adjustments in some areas, but the sentiment is pretty much exactly as ours. So we're not alone. We're not on an island by ourselves fighting this battle. So just to let you know that I did learn some other things, that this is the fourth time that this has actually come up since 2011, and the first three times it actually went nowhere. It stalled out. This time it's moving forward, and maybe that makes sense in some areas, and some areas are taking advantage of it. But I think we're fine just the way we are, and we'll continue to go that way. We had some other good, fruitful discussion about what it means to be a board member, and the responsibility of each of us in what we do, and how much we're actually reporting back to those at our commissioner level that actually appointed us to these seats. And maybe that's something we need to think about talking about at executive committee, Keith, at some point in time, as to how we move forward with that and make sure that we're connected, especially with the economic development side. Now, Ashe County, Kathy Barr sits with us, and I'm not sure we have that the economic development portion of it with the other counties. as tight as we do with Kathy here. Maybe we do, but shame on me for not, probably reporting back to Ashe County is what the workforce is doing these days, and sharing our success stories like April shared today. We need to wave our banner of success out there so that folks can hear what workforce is doing in the high country. So I kind of challenge each board member to go to the website and look at board member responsibilities and what we're doing and what workforce is all about and our mission. And granted, there's not a lot of clients out there. We've got to rattle the bushes and rethink the way we do workforce and make sure that we are relevant, and these silly reorganization things don't come back up around again, because we are screaming loud and clear that we are relevant. We do make a difference, and we are in lockstep with economic development across our region. So should new business come in here, that workforce is ready to support and move forward. So yeah, Felicia said it well. It's leadership through some tough times, and we've got some tough times. COVID looks like it's at least stalling. Mask mandates are a breath of fresh air that they're being relieved a bit. So it's the future's great. We got some challenges, but we can do this together. So that's kind of the end of my comments. Does any other board members have comments? Okay. Do we have any public comment then, Rebecca?
I did not receive any.
Okay. Does anybody have anything else for the greater good? Well, at this time, I will move for an adjournment. Our next meeting will be May 12th at 2:30 p.m. And who knows, we might get together face to face sometime in the near future. It'd be nice to see everybody's smiling face together. So I appreciate each and every one of you. If there's no objection, we will stand adjourned. Thank you all. We'll see you next time.
Thank you. Take care.